welcome back as we continue our journey through the book of Numbers. We're in the book of Numbers already, and we are in chapter 2 in the book of Numbers today. In 1 Corinthians 14:33, it says, God is not a God of disorder or confusion, but a God of peace. In verse 40 says to be sure that everything is done in proper order. And with over 2 million people in the camp, Israel would need to follow God's lead directly in this as they get organized. They had to be organized, and it would be nearly impossible to break camp and move quickly when the cloud moved and move efficiently when it was time to move, when God directed them to move. They had to be ready, they had to be organized, and they had to have a plan. So when God said it was time to move, they had to move. So how are they going to do that with 2 million people? Well, the Levites would camp immediately around the tabernacle. They were the first line of defense around the tabernacle to protect the camp from God and protect the tabernacle from any invaders as well. And each of the 12 tribes were assigned specific places in the camp where they would reside in the camp when they were not moving. And it was all in reference to the tabernacle, because again, the tabernacle is center. God is the center heartbeat of it all, and God dwelt at the heart of the camp, so everything surrounded God. And each camp's location was determined specifically by God, as we're going to see when we move into chapter 2. And we'll go ahead and start with verse 1. Then the Lord gave these instructions to Moses and Aaron. When the Israelites set up camp, each tribe will be assigned its own area. The tribal divisions will camp beneath their family banners on all 4 sides of the tabernacle, but at some distance from it. The divisions of Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun are to camp toward the sunrise on the east side of the tabernacle, beneath their family banner. These are all the names of the tribes, their leaders, and the numbers of their registered troops. Judah, Nahshon, son of Amminadab, 74,600. Issachar, Nathanael, son of Zuar, 54,400. And Zebulun, with Eliab, son of Helon, 57,400. So the total of all the troops on Judah's side of the camp is 186,400. These 3 tribes are to lead the way whenever the Israelites travel to new campsites. And we're going to pause right there. So Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun, they're all descendants of Leah, and they camped to the east at the sunrise. And they were positioned at the entrance side of the tabernacle, and they totaled 186,400 men. And it was important to have the largest tribe, the largest group of men protecting the entrance to the tabernacle, and this was the largest group of warriors. We'll continue in verse 10. The divisions of Reuben, Simeon, and Gad are to camp on the south side of the tabernacle beneath their family banners. These are the names of their tribes, their leaders, and the numbers of their registered troops. Reuben, Elizur, son of Shedeur, was 46,500. Simeon, Shalumiel, son of Zurishaddai, 59,300. And Gad, Eliasaph, son of Deuel, 45,650. So the total of all the troops on Reuben's side of the camp is 151,450, and these 3 tribes will be second in line whenever the Israelites travel. Then the tabernacle carried by the Levites will set out from the middle of the camp. All the tribes are to travel in the same order that they camp, each in position under the appropriate family banner. So Reuben, Simeon, and Gad camped to the south of the tabernacle with 151,450 men. And we'll continue in verse 18. The divisions of Ephraim, Manasseh, and Benjamin are to camp on the west side of the tabernacle, beneath their family banners. And these are the names of the tribes, their leaders, and the numbers of their registered troops. Ephraim, Elishama, son of Ammihud, 40,500. Manasseh, Gamaliel, son of Bethiuzar, 32,200. And Benjamin, Abidab, son of Gideoni, 35,400. So the total of all the troops on Ephraim's side of the camp is 108,100. These 3 tribes will be third in line whenever the Israelites travel. So this group of people, Ephraim and Manasseh, were the descendants of Joseph, and they camped on the west side of the tabernacle with Benjamin, and they totaled 108,100 men, and that meant that Rachel's descendants actually all camped together. I just thought that was kind of sweet. We'll continue in verse 25. The divisions of Dan, Asher, and Naphtali are to camp on the north side of the tabernacle beneath their family banners. These are the names of the tribes, their leaders, and the numbers of their registered troops. Dan, Ahiezer, son of Amishadai, 62,700. Asher, Pagiel, son of Okran, 41,500. And Naphtali, Ahira, son of Enan, 53,400. So the total of all the troops on Dan's side of the camp is 157,600. And these three tribes will be last, marching under their banners whenever the Israelites travel. In summary, the troops of Israel listed by their families totaled 603,550. There we have that final number again. But as the Lord had commanded, the Levites were not included in this registration. So the people of Israel did everything as the Lord had commanded Moses. Each clan and family set up camp and marched under their banners exactly as the Lord had instructed them. Again, they're following the orders and directions of God exactly. And Dan, Asher, and Naphtali camped on the north side with 157,600 men. So we're going to break this down. Whenever the camp moved, the Ark of the Covenant would be carried by the priests, and they would lead the way of the march. And the largest tribe, which was Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun, would follow. Behind them would be the Gershonites and the Merarites with the tabernacle pieces. And then Reuben, Simeon, and Gad's tribes would follow the tabernacle pieces. Behind them, the Kohathites would carry the tabernacle furnishings. And Ephraim, Manasseh, and Benjamin came next, and then Dan, Asher, and Naphtali ended the line. The largest tribe was in front, leading the way behind the ark. And the second largest was the rear guard. So the front and the rear were completely covered and protected as they moved through the camp together. And with the pillar of cloud hovering over the center of the camp during the day, and the inflamed pillar of the cloud being on fire at night, the camp organized around it with their banners and their assigned places, and it had to look incredibly awesome from above. And you have some at the north, some at the south, some at the east, and it kind of, I can't help but wonder if it made a perfect cross the way they set up camp. I don't know, but that was just what entered my mind. It had to look amazing, though. As a matter of fact, in Numbers 24, 5-6, Balaam looked down on the camp from a mountain, and he responded in awe of the glorious beauty of the camp. And I can only imagine what he saw and how much more glorious God's eternal kingdom will be. In the camp of Israel was a pilgrim of people who followed the Lord with all his glory at the heart of absolutely everything, and his presence led the way. And Israel was one united people, united in the Lord as well as each other for one mission and one purpose, and that was to follow God and his orders. They were also individually and separately recognized and organized uniquely by God, occupying their own special and unique place in his line, in his camp, according to his design and led by his command. And we're each individually created by God in his unique design for his glory, and we're united in the blood of Jesus as one global body in the same mission of making God's eternal kingdom full and fighting the one united enemy. We all have the same enemy, so we unite and we fight against him with all of our guts. And just like the camp of Israel, we are the camp of Christ, brought together by the blood of Jesus. And we love God with all our guts passionately, and we love the people around us out of that love for him, and we unite. The world will know us by our love and our unity, and we encourage each other and keep fighting because we want his kingdom full. Thanks, y'all. I hope you're having a glorious day in the Lord.